Hello everyone and welcome to Procurement in the Park. I'm Schuh and today in the third episode of my occasional series that draws inspiration from my book, The CPO, I want to look at how CPOs can and should negotiate with suppliers in a way that strengthens their company and their function. As I will explain, CPOs should take a strategic rather than a transactional approach to the negotiations with suppliers. If they do this, they can expect to do much more than simply contain costs. They can tap 5 mission-critical sources of competitive advantage: innovation, quality, sustainability, speed, and risk reduction or resilience. But many don't take a strategic approach. When Thomas Sutter, the fictional hero of my book, The CPO, started his job at a major US industrial company, he was shocked by how bad the supplier negotiation process was. His story is one that I have seen unfold in very many real-life companies around the world. For a start, he couldn't believe that the company's procurement managers had only a limited say on the choice of supplier. In fact, in one instance, the managers were only invited to participate in the selection process at the very last minute. As a result, they only had time to tweak the terms and conditions of a contract whose critical elements had all been pretty much settled by the engineers. Also, Thomas couldn't believe that the procurement managers negotiated with little preparation and next to no strategic purpose. Indeed, as one of them explained to him, normally the supplier asks for something, we counter, and then we end up somewhere in the middle. Ending up somewhere in the middle? That really is no way to conduct a negotiation with a supplier. To the extent that's possible, CPO should be bossing the negotiations as a critical representative of the buyer company. They should be the ones in the driving seat. So what's the right way to negotiate with suppliers? Well, as I explain in my latest book, Profit from the Source, published by Harvard Business Review Press, CPOs should be given a strategic mandate from their CEOs. With such a mandate, they should feel empowered to shape, not just support the corporate strategy and to focus on generating profitable growth and not just reducing costs. What does this mean in practice? In the context of supplier negotiations, it means 2 things. First, a strategic mandate means that CPOs should be given a much more central role in the product lifecycle. In fact, as my co-authors from Boston Consulting Group phrase it, in Profit from the Source, CPOs should own the product lifecycle. Rather than simply joining the negotiation table when the ink on the contract is all but dried, CPOs and the manager should be there when the design engineer first picks up a pencil to start sketching out ideas for a new product. And they should still be there when the last product rolls off the factory production line. When they are involved like this, CPOs can challenge entrenched views on suppliers and product specifications in ways that can create profitable growth and cut costs. Second, a new strategic mandate means that CPO should develop a more nuanced, differentiated approach to their company's suppliers. It is a fact that not all suppliers are born equal. Some are much more important than others. Reflecting this, I and my colleagues at Boston Consulting Group often encourage CPOs to divide their suppliers into 3 broad categories and to adopt different, carefully tailored negotiation strategies for each one. The most important are the A suppliers, The 20 to 40 companies that typically account for about 50% of a company's procurement budget. They are strategically significant and they require a customized, bespoke, personal approach. With them, the CPO's focus should be on fostering mutually beneficial relationships. The next most important are the B suppliers, the 100 to 200 companies that account for around 35% of the procurement budget. Typically, we say that whereas the approach to A suppliers should be all about the suppliers, the approach to B suppliers should be all about the categories. Also, the CPO's focus should be on striking the best financial deal. In this regard, CPO should make good use of the best available digital negotiation tools, those powered by artificial intelligence. Finally, there are the C suppliers, who can number several thousand, but who only account for about 15% of the procurement budget. Too often, these suppliers are overlooked by the CPOs because they are so numerous and cumbersome to deal with. But collectively, they constitute a significant opportunity for a company looking to cut costs. As with B suppliers, C supplier negotiations should be managed with the aid of time-saving digital tools that allow CPOs to devote most of their attention and resources to the A suppliers who can help the company generate profitable growth. In my book, The CPO, Thomas Sutter was astonished by how badly his new company approached the business of procurement. To begin the long process of changing the way things were being done, he rejected one of the long-standing suppliers' demands for a price increase and ordered his managers to draw up a list of alternative suppliers. Turns out his orders were not well received. He got evil looks from his team. As he tells the reader, one of the managers seemed to sneer and let me know that I'd probably messed up a good thing with the vendor. But Thomas brushed aside these negative reactions. That's because he knew that when a CPO takes a narrow transactional approach to supplier negotiations, then his and his team's impact on the company can only ever be minimal. By contrast, when the CPO takes a more expansive strategic approach to supplier negotiations, then the sky is the limit. Time and time again, I have seen with my own eyes that CPOs who approach the art and science of supplier negotiations in two important ways. One, by getting involved in the design process right from the start, and two, by categorizing different suppliers according to the strategic value to the company. These CPOs play a vital role in the success of their company. In fact, I would go even further. These CPOs fulfill the promise of the ideal CPO, the corporate sine qua non, the indispensable C-suite executive without which CEOs cannot hope to achieve their dreams they had for the company when they first took the job. Thank you for watching. I'm Christian Schuh and this is Procurement in the Park.